Namaskar. Good evening to all. Welcome to all our viewers to our last academic session in this World Heritage Week 2020 celebrations. Today, we are having our last academic session in collaboration with Center for Museology, University of Jammu, and together with Intangible Cultural Heritage Department, Heritage Society, Patna. So it is my distinct honor and pleasure to welcome Professor Poonam Chaudhary, ma'am, our chairperson for today's webinar. Welcome you, ma'am. With us, we have also our two distinguished speakers today, Dr. Sindhu Kapoor, ma'am, and Dr. Sunil Khosa, sir. I warm-heartedly welcome both of you, sir, from both of the institution, Heritage Society, and on behalf of Center for Museology, University of Jammu. Today, since we are now heading towards the closer or the ending sessions of World Heritage Week celebrations, we Heritage Society from the very beginning, from the very onset of the World Heritage Week, we came in collaboration with leading institutions of India and abroad and hosted number of academic sessions that commenced from 19th January. And on the very first day, we had our first academic collaboration with Indira Gandhi Rashtriya Manav Sangrahalaya, and we had an academic session where Professor Deen Bandhu Pandey sir gave a lecture on a very special theme of women empowerment and the independence of women in the ancient Indian society. And then we had collaborations with other institutions such as Archaeological Survey of India, Jabalpur Circle, and then with government of Assam. And then today with us, today we are together with one of the premier institution of India, with University of Jammu, and I'm very delighted, Madam Chairperson, that today on this last academic session we have such a great personalities, eminent keynote speakers coming from different from various cross sections of educational leaders, and today we are going to have a great program today on this a very important academic session of today. And in this, the topic is also quite very relevant. The today's topic is on intangible cultural heritage of Jammu and Kashmir. So I will not take much time, and I will now request our chairperson, Madam Professor Poonam Chaudhary, ma'am, to kindly chair the session and begin the session. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. I will request Dr. Mullah, who is an assistant professor in the Center for Studies in Museology, to start the session. He will introduce the speakers, and I hand over the mic to Dr. Mullah.
Okay. Am I audible?
Is he audible? Because he's not able to connect. But
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. On behalf of the Center for Study of Museology, University of Jammu, I first would like to give thanks to the Intangible Cultural Heritage Department, Heritage Society Patna, for organizing such programs. So, today, the last day of Heritage Week, from 9th November to 15th November, every year by the UNESCO. World Heritage Week is celebrated across the world to increase awareness about the importance of the generation of heritage. This is like Jammu and Kashmir, culture, religion, and tradition hold a lot of importance in day-to-day life of their public. It's important to preserve our state culture so that the generation will learn about and practices. In view of that, Heritage Society and the Center for Studies Research have arranged this webinar on cultural heritage Jammu and Kashmir. Before I proceed, it's my privilege to host the renowned collaborative institution. We are to promote awareness regarding the heritage heritage of the state of Jammu and Kashmir for skill enhancement in the field of human studies and conservation. The Center for Studies in Museology, first of its kind in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, was established in 2008 in the University of Jammu. Center along with Sheikh Nuruddin Nurani Museum of Heritage supports study of practical museum-related knowledge, skill, research, and management of museums to enable further entrepreneurs, museum and heritage guides by the recognized etc. In 2011, the center started its program with doctorate and PhD in museology and heritage studies. The center is continuously committed and focused on making persistent contribution to the national and international cultural sector and skill development in the field of museum, conservation, and heritage studies. From 2021, three popular PG diploma course in museology and conservation, on museum techniques, 2-month certificate course on museum professional. Another collaborative institution, Intangible Cultural Heritage Department Heritage Society Patna, its leading organization in the field of heritage and culture, established in the year 2016 under the Society Act. The objective of the society is to document, conserve, and promote tangible and intangible heritage through regular exploration, excavation, publication, and by undertaking several innovative heritage awareness programs. Now, I will start our main session. First, I would like to introduce Chairperson of today's webinar, Professor Poonam Chaudhary. Professor Poonam Chaudhary has done double MA in History and Museology and Conservation. In 2008, she was appointed as the founder director Center for Studies in Museology and Sheikh Nuruddin Nurani Museum of Heritage. This is the University Museum. In February 2015, she was given additional charge as Director, School of Visual and Performing Arts, Design and Architecture, which she is holding till date, and was also given additional charge as Principal, Institute of Music and Fine Arts, Jammu, from 2015 till May 2018. 2 PhD scholars and 11 completed their degree under her guidance. She has 25 years postgraduate level teaching experience. She was identified as the principal candidate to participate in 2009 study of the United States Institute on American Civilization held at New York University in 2009. She has been associated with the newly focused Cluster University Jammu and was the convener for framing of course curriculum of MA Integrated History with specialization in cultural heritage. She was nominated by the Ministry of Culture, India, as a member of Board of Trustees of Victoria Memorial Hall, Kolkata, India, for a period of 3 years. She is also on the advisory board of Mubarak Mandi Heritage Society, Jammu. She wrote many books and articles, and she participated in many national and international conferences as an invited speaker. Now, I request Professor Poonam Chaudhary for giving her introductory speech as chairperson. Madam, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Malloy. Thank you very much. I'm grateful to Heritage Society for collaborating with us, because we have heard a lot about the Heritage Society Patna. So it's indeed a pleasure to be associated with them. And Dr. Khosa is a renowned personality, and he has written many books on Kashmir and Ladakh. Welcome, sir. Dr. Sindhu Kapoor, she has been my student. I take pride in that. She has been my student, and I am so happy to see her reach at this level. I welcome you for your presentation. And today's topic is Jammu and Kashmir. We decided to talk about the intangible cultural heritage of Jammu and Kashmir. So I would just like to introduce the region to our listeners, so that they understand where we are coming from and what we are talking about. And I would also like to mention what intangible cultural heritage is all about. I would like to start my uh, introductory remarks by saying with three questions: what, why, and who. When I say what, why, and who, I mean to say what is intangible cultural heritage. We all know what is intangible cultural heritage, but let's understand what UNESCO says. Let's look at intangible cultural heritage backwards. Why not? Let's look at heritage. What is heritage? Heritage is something that is passed down through generations. Then let's look at culture. What is culture? Culture refers to values, traditions, and identities. And now, what is intangible? Intangible is something which we cannot touch. So, the definition. So, how do we define intangible heritage? How do we understand what is intangible heritage? Then, intangible heritage is traditions and living expressions that are transmitted from one generation to the next. It is a living heritage which include community gatherings, oral traditions, songs, knowledge of natural spaces, healing traditions, foods, holidays, beliefs, cultural practices, skills of making handicrafts, methods of agriculture and cattle breeding, traditional navigation skills, cooking skills, and winery, etc. I mean, the list is endless. It is community based, inclusive, and representative. Its elements are integral part of both rural and urban life. Intangible heritage we find in Jammu and Kashmir, both in urban and rural life of the people of Jammu and Kashmir, of course. And when I say why, then why intangible culture heritage is important. Why do we need to safeguard it? Why is it so important? It is important because it promotes tolerance, peace, and reconciliation. It fosters community and individual well being. It promotes human rights and sustainable development. However, despite being so rich, Jammu and Kashmir being so rich in the intangible cultural heritage, it is at risk of disappearing. And it is because of globalization and many other factors. It is not only at risk of disappearing in Jammu and Kashmir, but this is the scenario all over the world. Because the intangible cultural heritage was disappearing, UNESCO created the Convention for Safeguarding of Intangible Cultural Heritage in 2003. 178 countries have signed this convention, and till now, I think 500 ICH elements on the list of intangible cultural heritage have been registered. Who? Now, my question is who? Who are the custodians of this heritage? Is intangible heritage limited to the lists and inventories which are mentioned in the World Heritage List? No, it is not. It is what the community produces. It is kept alive. The intangible cultural heritage is kept alive because it is relevant to its community and it is transmitted from one generation to another. It is something which is recognized by the communities, groups of individuals that create, maintain, and transmit the intangible heritage. So it is the duty of the bearers of tradition to safeguard it. It is an effort. It is an effort which they have to take to promote their intangible cultural heritage, take initiative in promoting it, in creating awareness about it to the younger generation. So the local communities, the non-government organizations, and even the local governments have a role to play in creating policies so that they, we can ensure the safeguarding of our living heritage, which is just getting lost. as is the case of Jammu and Kashmir. What do we safeguard? Now, what are we safeguarding? Intangible heritage, the oral traditions and expressions. This is what the UNESCO says. Performing arts, social practices, rituals, and festive events, knowledge and practices concerning nature and the universe, traditional craftsmanship. So, these are the things which we are safeguarding, which we are supposed to safeguard. And the key to safeguarding is what? Is transmission to ensure that intangible culture heritage is passed from generation to generation in a way that allows space for the natural evolution. We cannot freeze it. We need to move on with the times, and we need to pass it on to from generation to generation. Here I would like to mention, I had gone to Japan and I was very amazed to see the rebuilding of a Shinto shrine. In Japan we have Shinto shrines which are in most of the places they are rebuilt after 20 years. Now, why are they rebuilt? Because they want to safeguard the technique of building the Shinto shrines, which was very, very amazing. And that was the first time I got in touch, I got associated with something intangible and which needed to be preserved and which they are passing on from one generation to another generation. Now, how do we safeguard this intangible heritage? We can safeguard this intangible heritage by raising awareness, making sure that people understand why it needs to be protected. We need to educate the potential of it. We need to have a networking. We need to do research. So these are the ways by which we can safeguard our heritage. Now coming to Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir, the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir included three distinct regions, Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh. But now it is a UT of Jammu and Kashmir, that is the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. So now it is Jammu and Kashmir. Ladakh is no longer a part of Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Nonetheless, whenever we are talking about Jammu and Kashmir, because we have been together, I mean, all these three regions have been together since 1846 when Maharaja Gulab Singh united and made one state. So we cannot just leave out Ladakh at one go because the cultural links cannot be detached in one go, and it remains a part of us. So, and Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh, it is always, it is called as a trefoil land, an exposition of the heritage of Jammu Kashmir. I would say it is an exposition of the heritage of Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh. Jammu, very, very popular. It is said that it is a land where the goat and tiger drink from the same pond. Jammu is the brave land of harmony and coexistence. Ladakh, lunar landscape and ancient wisdom. Ladakh is the home of eternal peace and boundless knowledge. Kashmir, they say, if there's a paradise on earth, it is here in the valley of Kashmir. However, I would like to mention here that the cultural heritage of Jammu, Kashmir, and Ladakh has been because of the influences which the region has felt over the centuries. Ladakh, if you look at the location, it lay on the crossroads of the Silk Route, hence picked up influences from Central Asia. However, the primary influence on on the language, religion, and culture of Ladakh was Tibetan. And if we look at the culture now, we have, this is the only region in the whole of India where we still have Buddhism, where we have the Buddhism has survived, though in the form of Tantric Buddhism. Then Kashmir, over the centuries, evolved a unique language and culture, starting with the tribal Nagas to Buddhism, moved on to Brahmanism, and then from Islam. Islam came in very late. We have several references to Nag religion and to Buddhism. Also, the first Buddhist council was held in Kashmir. So, Kashmir is the land where the Rishi Kashyap, allowed the Nagas to live, and Nagas wanted Nagas and the Pishachas to live. We have so many stories, so many legends about Kashmir, which take us back to our ancestors, and we need to understand these oral histories, the traditions, the what Kashmir was all about. Kashmir is not only Islam, it is something much more than that. It is the land of the Nagas. It is the land where Buddhism flourished, where Brahmanism flourished. We have Kashmir Shaivism, which flourished there. So we need to understand the intangible culture heritage of Kashmir from that perspective also. And then we also need to understand the amalgamation of all these cultures, the Nag religion, the Buddhism, Brahmanism, and Islam, of course. So it is going to be very interesting. I think Dr. Sunil Khosa is going to throw a light on this. Then Jammu. Jammu has a number of subcultures, starting with the Dogras and encompassing the Gujars, Bakarwals, Pahadis, and Gatis. And the intangible heritage of Gujars, Bakarwals, Pahadis, and Gatis, we don't have time to go into detail with regard to that. But if a separate seminar is held, we can go on and on with so much of the versatile, multicolored, matchless cultural blend which we have in our region. The cultural forms in the form of fairs, festivals, rites and rituals, languages, cave shrines. I mean, it is embedded in the ageless period of the history, and it speaks volumes of unity and diversity of Jammu and Kashmir. And when we look at our scripts, Takri script, which is so important, it belongs to Jammu. Sharda script came later on, came in the Persian also, but we already had Sharda script, which was flourishing in Kashmir. Then Bodhi script in Ladakh. Of course, now various languages are spoken in Jammu, Kashmir, and Ladakh, which is again a part of our intangible cultural heritage. Dogri, it is the most important language of the Jammu region, Kashmiri. Then we have Bhadarwahi, Rambani, Pongli. I mean, the languages are also in are numerous. Festivals, amazing festivals we have in Jammu, Ladakh, and Kashmir. Like we have Lohri festival, which though is very popular in Punjab, but it is celebrated with flavor in Jammu region also. And during Lohri, earlier I remember, I mean, this intangible culture heritage, the tradition of making chajjas. By heavy, I remember going from house to house, making a chacha and going from one place to another. It's just thing. So it was such an important tradition. So these kind of traditions we need to preserve. Then we have festivals in Ladakh, which is Takthok festival in Ladakh. Then Khir Bhavani, Dr. Khosa would may elaborate on this. Was such a gathering at Khir Bhavani was so great. I mean, it has been replicated in Jammu also now. Mass dance of Hemis. Then coming to Jammu, I would say that Jammu can be divided into four cultural zones. Jammu, from Jammu to Udhampur, if we say this is plain, then we have Rajouri and Punch, which is again a different cultural zone that lay on the ancient Mughal route. Then we have Bhadarwa Kishtwar, where we have Bhadarwai and Kishtwari culture, which is very, very rich in our Nag culture, which has uh, innumerable stories about the Nagas and the rituals which need to be documented and which need to be preserved. We have something like Zagru, and we have a tradition where a priest walks on the burning coal at night. I mean, these are the kinds of traditions which we have in Jammu. And then another cultural zone can be the Basoli, the Bilawa, which has been very, very popular for which is very popular for miniature paintings of Basoli, which are known worldwide, and which need and that technique of making that painting, miniature painting, Basoli painting, needs to be documented and preserved because it is getting lost. If we do not do something now, it is going to go. We may not see it. Then we have rituals. I mean, where the floors were painting. Then something called Rade. Today is Tulsi Puja. I mean, I just, before starting this webinar, I just went and lit a diya in front of the Tulsi tree. So that is again an intangible culture, intangible heritage which needs to be preserved. The younger generation does not know about it. Then we have, I mean, it's endless. We have music. I mean, music, Rauf, which is very, very popular in of music of Kashmir. But I would like to mention here painting. जो हम माता की भेंटें गाते हैं, this is only unique to जम्मू. माता की भेंटें जो है हमारा एक जम्मू का कल्चर है. Then we have भाकें. So it is endless if you look at it. Even the cuisine, if we look, it is so different. Jammu cuisine is rajma chawal. As we go higher, the cuisine also changes. So that is also a part of our intangible heritage. Dance forms, Rauf dance, Hafiza dance, Bacha Nagma, Dandaras, Bhant, Kud. These are the kind of dances which we have in Jammu. So then festivals, I have already said Mela Pat. I mean, it's innumerable, and I think I now should stop and tell my speakers, eminent speakers, to move on and deliver their lecture. I think I have opened the house for discussion, and I have opened for now the house for the eminent speakers. Dr. Malloy would like to introduce Dr. Sindhu Kapoor.
Thank you, ma'am, for your excellent lecture. And you have given an overview of all types of intangible cultural heritage of Jammu and Kashmir. And you have correctly mentioned and highlighted the responsibility of younger generation for safeguarding our intangible cultural heritage. Now I would like to introduce distinguished speakers of today's session, Dr. Sindhu Kapoor. Dr. Sindhu Kapoor is teaching history as Senior Associate Professor in Higher Education Department of Jammu and Kashmir Government. Topper throughout, she accomplished her graduation from Government College for Women, Parade Ground, Jammu, and set new record at Bachelor of Arts level in 1994. She completed her post-graduation from the PG Department of History, University of Jammu, 1996, with first class. In 1998, she qualified UGC NET examination, and in 1999, completed her post-graduation diploma in journalism and mass communication. Recipient of various scholarships, Sindhu Kapoor was awarded 5 gold medals, which include Maharani Jasuraja Lakshmi Gold Medal and Dr. S. Radhakrishna Award for the year 1993-94 by the University of Jammu. She is author of 2 books on history of Jammu and Kashmir. She has also attended various international and national youth summits, camps, workshops, and seminars. She has also a number of published articles to her credit as well. Presently, she is working as Dean, Faculty of Social Science, Cluster University of Jammu, devoted to the cause of popularizing and documenting the cultural and heritage of the region. Now, I request Dr. Kapoor to enlighten us. Madam, please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Malloy. At the very outset, I extend my gratitude to my teacher and Director, Center for Studies in Museology, Dr. Poonam Chaudhary, as well as to Dr. Anand Ashutosh Dwivedi ji, who happens to be the Director General of Heritage Society of Patna, for giving me this opportunity to express my opinion on the topic which has been given to me, the role of women in the preservation of heritage in Jammu. It is my proud privilege to share the platform with the art historian of repute, Dr. Sunil Khosa. I think Dr. Poonam Chaudhary has already portrayed the panorama of Jammu and Kashmir culture and heritage so very beautifully that I think much of the task is already done by her, and whatever, if at all, it is left, we'll try to cover up with our presentations. Ma'am, you very beautifully had begun your talk by citing the three important nodal points, rather: what, how, why, and who. I think the topic which I have to ponder on today belongs to who, because here I am going to talk about the role of women in the preservation of heritage and culture in the Jammu region. Madam has talked very beautifully about the meaning and connotations of his heritage as well as culture. But at the same time, let me make the things more clearer by saying that heritage, the very word heritage, has been derived from the Latin word patrimonium. It is the union of the two words pater, which stands for father, and munius, which means duty. So, meaning thereby the duty of the father or the things that belong to the father. Now, what is culture? We have different aspects of culture, but what it is actually? Is it the way of living, or it is often conceived as the stream of ideas, or conventional understanding, or communicable understanding? If we go by the understanding of the sociologist and anthropologist, culture is nothing but the social heritage or ensemble of this social values, society, which exist in the society. And it is basically a body of the human achievements which have transmitted through the various traditions. That again, from one generation to another generation. So culture is the body of human achievements which is intergenerational. Heritage or culture, they are not something which can be valued in terms of money or property, but they are certain things like traditions, customs, artistic expressions, practices, beliefs, religion, which define this very intangible aspect of cultural heritage. Our folklore is thus also important area of this intangible heritage. So if we say that it is intangible heritage which establishes our history, which gives us identity, and it is that kind of identity which is definitely related with the past, but the past which is still relevant to us, since it has been passed on to us from the past, from the initial era, but that era is still relevant, and that era is defining our present, and is also going to make a contribution in the defining of our future also. As such, when it comes to intangible cultural heritage, we have songs, dance, drama, cuisine, the various such crafts, festivals, as ma'am has just said. And I think women are the true ambassadors, the true torch bearers of this part of cultural heritage. No doubt, the term heritage defines the duty of the father, but the true propagator of intangible cultural heritage lies is the women, and with her lies the duty of passing it from one generation to another generation. In my opinion, these areas of intangible cultural heritage are but the cultural vehicles, and the women play a great role. To be sufficed, the greater role in the propagation of these cultural vehicles. Nari Shakti or Matra Shakti is, as we all know, more participative in the traditional skills. In food making, we know certain things are actually gendered in our society. And in the religious ceremonies, in the beliefs, in the customs, in the traditions, in storytelling, in clothing, vis-a-vis dresses, ornaments, it is the women who define the line, who draw the line, and hence they are the true carriers of these cultural vehicles. Before I move ahead, though it has been already talked about in the introductory speech by Dr. Chaudhary, let me also say that Jammu is basically, if we talk about the physical and geographical aspects of Jammu division, it consists of foothills that are known as Kandi Ilaka, besides submontane and semi-mountainous areas. Early history of Jammu is not very clear and is still has got many versions and many legends are associated with its history. It is said it was established approximately 3,000 years by the two brothers, Bahulochan and Jambulochan. And as ma'am has already given an indication that the lamb and the loin, they used to have water together. So this is how we are actually having lot many cultural legends as regards the inception of Jammu or the history of Jammu. But one thing is very clear, it consisted of number of principalities like Basoli, Bilawar, Jasrota, Bhaddu, Mankot, Bandralta, Bahu, Jammu, Bhuti, Chennai, Riasi, Rajouri, Bhimbar, Punch, Kishtwar, Badarwa, and so on. And Jammu in particular was said to be the by which Sardar Jammu. Out of the 22 such principalities, Jammu was the leader, and culturally also. In the 18th century, it came into prominence under Raja Ranjit Dev, and in 1846, as we all know, this state of Jammu and Kashmir was established by Maharaja Gulab Singh, that comprised of Ladakh, present-day Union Territory of Ladakh, and present-day Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Since then, it becomes very relevant to understand that the position of women actually improved since 1846, and it is historically proven. It is not a mere thing which we can conceive on our own, but the four Dogra Maharajas, Maharaja Gulab Singh, Maharaja Ranbir Singh, Maharaja Pratap Singh, and Maharaja Hari Singh, especially, they contributed in the improvement of the position of women inside the state. And we have had this compulsory education act in the state, whereby we could find that the education level of the women was actually good. Besides this, we have seen that Jammu culturally is very, very rich. And this culture binds the people of the Jammu so very well. We all know that if we have to establish the identity of Jammu, if we have to find certain things which speak about the shared bondage of Jammu with the rest of the Union Territory or outside that in this country, one thing that comes to the mind of everyone is that it is the seat of Mata Vaishno Devi. Before I proceed ahead, let me talk about the aspect of Shaktism in Jammu. No doubt, ma'am, you have given the reference to the various sects of Hinduism in the state. But in my opinion, if we say Jammu is actually the seat of Shaktism, it won't be an exaggeration. Why I am saying so? Because Mata Vaishno Devi is being visited by more than 1.5 crore people from all over the world every year. Definitely, since August 5, 2019 onwards, there has been certain disruption in the pilgrimage to Mata Vaishno Devi due to the various reasons. But till that time, we have recorded that lakhs and lakhs of people, they come and pay their obeisance to the shrine of Mata Vaishno Devi. Now, it is very important to understand the background and history of Shaktism in this area, because what I could actually gather and I could assess that Shaktism is derived from the word sak, S-A-K, sak, that means to be able to. So, from that point of view, if we see that Shaktism leads to the emergence of supreme goddess, which we can identify with Mata Vaishno Devi, that means Shaktism definitely grew to prominence in this part of the world. And besides Mata Vaishno Devi, as we all know, we have many other such goddesses shrine in this very part of the Union Territory. That may include Mata Sukrala Devi, which is located 10 kilometers away from Bilawar. And besides that, even in Jammu, the chief deity is Bavewali Mata, which is also known as the temple inside the Bahu Fort. And this very temple is devoted to Mata Kali. And besides that, we have Chichi Mata near Samba. Then we have Sarthal Devi. Then we have Machel goddess. So all these temples, they are devoted to the supreme goddess Mahadevi, and hence can we think of that the place which we term or which think or which we perceive as the seat of Shaktism, can it be without its impact on the people of Jammu? Definitely not. Rather, the culture of Jammu all around, I'm talking about the whole province, is defined by the presence and rise of Shaktism in this very area. And when I say so, I firmly believe that even in our religious texts, like the various Puranas, Vishnu Puran, starting with the 4th century, to the first chapter of the Shiv Puran, to Devi Mahatm, which is a section of the Markandeya Puran, again the contemporary of 4th to 6th centuries AD, to Devi Bhagavad Puran, that was written around 11th and 12th century AD. The Mata Vaishno Devi was properly established as the supreme goddess in this area. So 12th century onwards, if Shaktism is rising and it is flourishing in this area, then definitely the role and impact of Shaktism must have had some impact on the people of Jammu. Now, there are certain important rituals which are attributed to Shaktism, and definitely they are what are being followed by the people of Jammu, right? So we all know Mata Vaishno Devi is located in the foothills of Trikuta mountain. This Trikuta mountain itself is deriving its name by the presence of Trinity, Mahalakshmi, Mahakali, and Mahavaishnavi, these 3 temples. So our geography is also defined by the feminine attributes. To take my talk further, let me exemplify with the presence of river Tavi, who happens in our mythological history, she happens to be the daughter of Lord Surya. Then we have river Devika. So these are the feminine attributes. If I move ahead, let me tell you that in our area we find that our folk. Ma'am has talked about various forms of dance and songs, but to be very specific, it is important to understand that this region is known for the bhajan, bhend, and pakhe, the typical types of songs, and most of them are attributed or sung in the praise of the local deity. These Shaktis actually dominate the intangible area vis-a-vis our arts and crafts also. For example, in Jammu region, we celebrate many festivals and Kanya Pujan dominates them. Today also, I do not know in the rest of the country how effectively this Ekda Ekadashi is celebrated. But in Jammu, it is being celebrated with lots of fervor, and it is actually worshipped in honor of Tulsi. And all these rituals are being performed by the women of the area. Besides, the vrats or the fasting on Tuesdays and Fridays is quite very popular here. One thing, whenever certain auspicious occasion happens, the women like to wear the red color. Why? Because this red color is said to be the favorite of Mata Rani. And in the Dogra dresses are made, the Dogri Suthan and Dogri Chunni or Dogri Kurti, this Dogri suit is made especially in red color for the brides with lots of tilla work and kinari work, possibly in the gold and the silver threads is made. And again, whatever is offered to Mata Vaishno Devi again happens to be in the red color and with lots of these embroideries and kinari work on it. This definitely is giving employment to many people and many households around this area also. Besides, we know whenever you happen to come to Jammu or who happens to meet us for the first time during the day, it is but natural for all of us to greet each other by saying Jai Mata Di. And whenever we have any trouble or any problem, we come to the conclusion, Mata Rani sabka bhala karengi, sab theek karengi. So it has this aspect of culture has come into effect, and it is affecting the cultural ethos in such a way that it has become our life, our way of living, and all the traditions, all the culture, all the customs, they have been followed or they are revolving around this area because of the presence of worship of goddesses. Now, how it has affected us, that is very important to understand. We know Dogras have contributed a lot to the army section of the country. We have had many Viranganas. One name which comes to the fore, who happened to be the savior of Jammu and Kashmir at the time of this invasion from Pakistan in 1947, is Brigadier Rajinder Singh. It has come to the fore that it was his wife, Ramdev, who was instrumental in sending Brigadier Rajinder Singh to the war, and she was the mother of daughters, and she told him, "You go ahead, I'll take care of your family." So we know he had sacrificed his life in the battle, and this, is the Dogra culture is actually impacted by this very courage of women. Almost 2 years back, we had a survey on the condition of women who live on the border areas. I happened to meet them. I happened to interview many of them on the borders, and it gives me immense pleasure to convey you all that the happiness index of women living on the border areas of Jammu region was the highest in the country. And they were so happy that they are there just looking after their daily chores, but still the bullets would come continuously from the other side of the land, and still they can manage their livelihood. So this is the spirit of the people, and most of the times when we talk to them, they said that when the bullets or when the grenades attack their houses, they are losing their houses, they are losing their fields, they are losing their people, they are losing their men, but still they keep on singing the bhajan so that their spirits remain up. This is the emotion, this is the contribution of the women of the Dogra land. And one thing which I would like to share with you all is that it was Malika Pukraj. She is a renowned singer who belonged to this land. She was just 9 years old when she sung at the coronation ceremony of Maharaja Hari Singh. He was so enchanted by her this talent that Maharaja requested Malika Pukraj to come and join the darbar, and which she agreed. And she was here for a pretty long time, and she sung so many beautiful pake and songs in the Dogri language. A few days back, I happened to come across the women who belonged to the other side of the Doda, and they were actually the representatives of the Sarfrazi culture there. When I talked to them, I came to know from them many oral traditions which these women are passing from one generation to another, and they still are engrossed in their livelihood over there. One important aspect I would like to share, there was this old lady who must be above 70. When I talked to her, she was the owner of big land. It was very inquisitive on my part to ask her if she had any brothers. Definitely she had. So her father had passed on the property of the family to his daughter, still when he had the sons. So this Sarfrazi culture is actually symbolic of the very fact that the women in this region, they have very, very important role, and they play a very, very significant role in the propagation of tangible cultural heritage, be it in the terms of food or cuisine, because they are the ones who live up to the life which is passed on from their ancestors, and they have inherited so much of values. They have imbibed so much of the ethos of these traditions and customs, that they are passing on the baton so very beautifully and perfectly to the coming generations. More than anybody, I think it is the women who are contributing in the preservation of Dogra culture. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sindhu. Really interesting, really interesting. I will speak in the end. Now I request Dr. Maloide to introduce Dr.
Yes,
Sunil Khosa.
yes, madam. Thank you, madam. Thank you, Dr. Sunil Kapoor, for the excellent and informative lecture. You have given a new aspects of intangible heritage of Jammu and Kashmir. Really, you mentioned very well the important role or significant role of women for safeguarding intangible heritage. Now, our next speaker, Dr. Sunil Khosa. Dr. Sunil Khosa is an eminent art historian of not only in Jammu and Kashmir but in India also. He was the former head of the Department of Art, History and Aesthetic and Institute of Music and Fine Arts, Jammu. He has done his MA and PhD in art history from Benares Hindu University. He has published many articles in national and international journals and published many popular books in art history like Art History of Kashmir and Ladakh, Antiquity of Western Himalayas, Chronicles of Indian Art, etc. So, sir, now over to you, please.
Thank you, Dr. Malloy. Thank you, Dr. Poonam Chaudhary, for inviting me to this webinar. And thanks to everyone. Now, after listening to Dr. Poonam Chaudhary and Dr. Sindhu, I have decided to be, be, be more empirical and at the same time, I have to connect the vowels and consonants of human expression, faith and feeling, emotion and reaction. And if we make a real amalgamative, if we conjoin these terms together, it forms a unique expression, and that is what is intangible. Intangible is what Dr. Poonam Chaudhary referred about Ladakh, referred about Jammu, Kashmir. Well, there are two important facets of happening. One is conception, belief, and another is expression. So they are obverse and reverse facets of one coin only. Now, it is whatever we speak, whatever we debate on, it is not pertaining, it is not circumscribing to one word, one syllable, that is I. It is collectivism. Faith is not of a person. बावे वाली माता, शेरा वाली माता, खीर भवानी वाली माता, pranam, namaskar, naman to Shakti. Okay. But it is essentially your feeling that you have been drawing, you have been prescribing, you have been understanding the dynamics. And at times I say, it is popular, it is forceful, it is wonderful, it is awe-inspiring, it is nothing is outside, everything is within you. If you have the aptitude, you will love the darshana of Mata. If you are not into it, you will hardly find any recourse, any realization. So intangible is always subtle. subtle, suksham. It hits you somewhere. Yes, it hits you somewhere. Element of right. Let me discuss and start it from the one word, element of right. If all of a sudden you wake up from your deep sleep and you find something glowing on the wall of the room, the first reaction will be knee jerk. You will be scared what it is. Now, how it is applied and what are its consequences? These consequences are registered in the stories uh, communicated story in story format from Dadima to her grandchildren. You don't do anything. Baba will come to you. And Baba was to be made. Baba. What Baba? Baba is this. So, in history, there were Khakas and Bambas. Kashmir and Peshawar area. They were quite barbaric, and these Khakas and Bambas were so scary that these words are presently spoken as Khokha, just Khokha. Bambas are gone. Khokha. Khokha means devil. Khokha means evil. Khokha means bad. So whenever my grandma would scare me by saying, "Oh, khakha aa gaya, khakha," and I would just get what is. And when I started delving into, जब मैंने पढ़ाई की, my history teacher in Amar Singh College said, look, there were two tribes. One was known as Khakas, and another was known as Bambas. This is oral communication. I have heard Raja Vikramaditya's reference from my illiterate grandmother. I am 66. You add further 50 years to it. That was the difference. So I am taking you at least 120 years back. And I would just be around her in deep winter. And I would just वो कांगड़ी को सेकता था वो और दादी वो जरा कहानी सुना. And then she would Raja Vikramaditya. She would discuss, she would communicate for hours together stories just aptly from the history. And today I tell you honestly, whatever I am, the DNA has come from those very stories. She would also tell me, listen, you should not speak anything. You should be composed. Whenever you are in the mandir, you need to be straight and don't think of anything. Think of divine. I said, what divine? Image ko dekho. Image ko dekho. Ye murti ko dekho. And today, when I say it is dhyana, वो तो form है. Unless and until you are subtle from inside, you cannot go and observe everything. Fasting is a process. Fasting is a process. It advises you do's and don'ts. It makes you a disciplined person. But fasting is a method of some kind of discipline that enables. So that point of वो जो enable करने का होता है, जैसे आप enable कीजिए. So it is that. Now let me go to my topic. Festivities and rituals. I don't know how much time I have right now. Till how long can I speak?
15 minutes.
Okay. Uh, I was just 7 years old, and there used to be a postman. He would just come. He would just come, banging his stick. वो stick, that stick was, ornamented with gungrus, and in deep winter, in deep winter, he would just go on delivering post mail. And one day I said, who is he? He is a man who makes you realize of the time. He is the man who is always he is always fighting evil. I said, what evil? बर्फ बहुत हो गई है, पीछे से बाबा आता है, और उसको हम मतलब कश्मीर में आज भी wherever it snows heavily, or people don't move out of their homes and huts, they just stay back, because it is the deafening silence caused by heavy downpour of snow. और उसमें क्या होता है कि वो hysterical attacks hote hain. It is whenever you are in deep snow, nothing around, no sound, and the man would come banging his stick against the snow, and calling eternal, calling God, singing songs, and then he would do his job. ये ऐसा भी होता था हमारे यहाँ. Ladies, newborn babies, and bride, उनको भी क्या करते थे, they would just उनका एक त्योहार होता था, फेस्टिविटी होती थी, तो उनको कुछ to ward them off from the evil spirits, वो टोपी पे कुछ यंत्र लगा के वो there used to be, they would do it. वो to ward off. किसके लिए? Element of fright. Now, everything can be realized only if you have that conception of the truth. Conception of the truth. And then comes transformation of the truth. Truth is always subtle, and transformation is tangible. Action is only possible to a particular, किसी के against reaction जो है उसका वो आप action and reaction, propping and propelling, he and she, positive and negative, laughter and sorrowfulness. और इनका जो है आपस में बड़ा गठजोड़ है. हम माता के दरबार में जाते हैं, ईश्वर के सत्ता में हमारा नमन, लेकिन जितना मेरा दिल बहुत जबरदस्त तरीके से मानेगा, उतने ही मेरी माता को मैं उतना प्यार दूंगा. It is me. It is always from me. It is always from me, because उन्होंने सत्ता दी है. So it is action and reaction. और आपका ये जो आज का ये tangible और intangible, ये दोनों में ये है कि it cannot be discussed in isolation. Mother's Shakti is very, very important, but at the same time, history has evolved. Over a period of thousands of years, gradual metamorphosis, force of action and reaction, and sublime thoughts have made us realize through tits and bits, and we have connected them together, and ultimately it has become part and parcel of our social expression. social expression, and whenever it becomes social, it becomes multidimensional. You may pick any dimension of it. You will just go to the उसमें उसका infinite. But the way Madam Poonam ji, she uh, consolidated every bit of UNESCO, and I'm really surprised how she remembers each and every fundamentals of heritage, those vowels and consonants of UNESCO. And you are, Dr. Sindhu, you are just a wonderful woman who has valor, who has peaceful blissness and valor, combination of both in your expression. And I I swear I have not touched my original text. I have not touched. These are original text. No, because I thought aesthetics is lacking somewhere. She is into grammar and you are into valorous status. So I thought I have to choose between the two. So expression is the highest point. In fact, it is the climax of every cultural expression. That is how I conclude. Thanks to all.
Excellent.
Oh, thank you very much. Excellent.
Excellent, amazing, sir. Your speech is itself an intangible thing. So now
Did you hear Dr. Malloy saying that your speech itself is an intangible thing?
My God, he is too quick in his wit. He's too quick to deliver. Actually, what happened? She became Dr. Poonam Chaudhary became Herodotus. She started and engulfed every bit like a tornado. She enveloped everything. That is wonderful. That is great. And Dr. Sindhu, you just got into जैसे हमारा वो sorry if I am wrong. You were just a lady on the horse. Yes, that is because it is affirmation, not exclamation. You are just consolidated person in your consolidated expression. You have spoke, you have delivered. That is what both of you are. God bless you. It is so wonderful to hear. I can
yeah. Okay, ma'am.
I
So,
can understand what ML Kapoor must have been.
Oh, yes. He was
No,
a
no,
wonderful.
sir. I'm just endorsing your point when you are talking about Poonam ma'am also, that it justifies my very speech on the role of women in the preservation of heritage in Jammu.
She, 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 उसने मेरी उंगली पकड़ी, कहा चल बेटा, रास्ता यहाँ से है. और दूसरा आके सुना गया कि तुम्हें बोलना आता भी है या नहीं. मैंने कहा बोलना किसे कहते हैं. उसने कहा कि बोलना एक तो मुंह से बोला जाता है, दूसरा मन से बोला जाता है और उसका एक्सप्रेशन आंखों से होता है. मैं ऐसे करती हूं, जरा तू भी करके देख. सो वी हैव बीन everybody, it is woman that makes you civilized. It is woman that holds you. It is out of woman that the world is existing. It is all. तभी तो हमने महाशक्ति कहा इसको, दो हाथों से. Or it is that flavor, it is that feeling, it is that expression, it is that impression that makes us move ahead. और हम उसी 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 ताप में, उसी इमोशनल उसमें हम आगे चलते हैं, हम कहते हैं कि हे जगत जननी, out of our submission, we submit before that.
Super.
वो उसको उसको वेदों में कहा गया है तत्, तत् ये तत् मीन्स आप, वो जो मैं बात कर रहा हूं उसके ऊपर जो होगा उसकी बात मैं कर रहा हूं। शक्ति तो इसको कहते हैं। वो सुंदर भी है, उसमें बहुत, उसमें वो जो पूरे रसों से भरी हुई है, ये करुणा भी है, श्रृंगार भी है इसमें, वात्सल भी है इसमें, क्या नहीं है इसमें, बस हमारे देखने की तो देर है। और यही हमारी संस्कृति है और यही हमारा। So nice to be with you. So nice to be with all of you.
Thank you very much. Dr.
Thank you, so that was a great pleasure to our center also. So now request Professor Poonam Chaudhary to conclude the program.
Thank you very much for agreeing to be a part of this program, Dr. Sindhu, Dr. Khosa. It's such a pleasure to have you both here, and grateful to Heritage Society. Now I hand over the mic to Heritage Society.
Thank you, ma'am. Wonderful session, a great session with such a very elucidated everything in such a detail. I'm really very thankful to first to Center for Museology, University of Jammu for collaborating with us, and then to all our speakers for sharing your insights, your experiences, and your knowledge of about the intangibles of Jammu. Definitely, Jammu Kashmir, and the whole land is a multicultural, multi-religious, multi-ethnic place. With every place is being known for their performances, rituals, being with their own food, festivals, everything. So I'm really very thankful to all of the speakers for joining us in today's evening session and for sharing your insights and experiences. On behalf of Heritage Society, let me convey my vote of thanks to everyone present in today's evening session, which is also, in fact, the last academic session in the World Heritage Week program that all commenced from 19th November almost. And then we are regularly hosting different lectures, dialogues, conferences, workshops with leading organizations of India. So let me first thank our chairperson, Madam Professor Poonam Chaudhary, ma'am, for joining us today and for chairing the session. And also a special thanks for supporting us in all our academic endeavors and giving us every kind of academic support in our mission, in our effort to promote and to safeguard the rich cultural heritage of our country. In fact, so thank you so much, ma'am. I'm also very thankful to our two distinguished speakers today, Dr. Sunil Khosa sir and Dr. Sindhu Kapoor ma'am. I'm really very thankful, sir, for your for sharing your great insights and for sharing your experiences on the intangibles of Jammu. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm also thankful to all the audience, all the viewers, in fact, without whom any event is of no meaning. It's their support, it's the academic audience that always promotes us in fact encourage us to bring more and more dialogue. And this is in fact what the academic life is all about, where we regularly engage us in more and more dialogues, debates every time, so in order to enrich our knowledge and in fact to move the discipline even further. So thank you all of the audience, all our viewers, our Virasat Mitras, our followers who are joining from India, from abroad, from everywhere, and they're connected with us on different social media platforms. Anyone who missed any section of the lecture because of any technical problem, they can still watch these sessions again, because the whole session has been broadcasted and will stay on there on Facebook and YouTube pages of Heritage Society and Center for Museology, University of Jammu. So I will request all our viewers to watch again, and also share the link of this whole session with other colleagues who share similar interest in this particular field. So thank you, everyone. Also, I'm thankful to both the institutions, Heritage Society and Center for Museology, for hosting this very wonderful session. And on behalf of Heritage Society, I also thank all our academic collaborators who joined us during the whole session, the whole program of World Heritage Week celebrations, and a series of a week-long series of programs were organized, commencing from 19th November, when we first hosted on the very first day of World Heritage Week. We hosted first academic session in collaboration with Indira Gandhi Rashtriya Manav Sangrahalaya, and then we moved further with collaboration with Archaeological Survey of India, Jabalpur Circle, and organized dialogues with them. And then we had also a conference in this week on a special theme of on Northeast India crossroad for Asian civilizations, and we did it together with Directorate of Archaeology, Government of Assam. So thanks to all of the collaborators, thanks to Center for Museology, University of Jammu. And then after the end of this session, there will be a valedictory session that will come up at 8 o'clock today in the evening, and we will have some eminent speakers, Dr. Sachidanand Joshi Sahab from Member Secretary Agency, and Dr. Hemlata Mohan Ma'am from Ministry of Culture, Government of India, and Dr. Avilasa Dwivedi and Sri Sanatan Kumar Sahab from Rajya Sabha Secretariat. So I request all our viewers, all our partners, colleagues, and all our viewers to stay live with Heritage Society, and stay with us to join us in the evening session, the another evening session that will be live just after half an hour. So once again, thank you everyone present here. Thanks to all for joining this session. Thank you all. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you to you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Azad.
Thank you very much.